Pittsburgh is a leader in brownfield redevelopment because we were the leader in major manufacturing. We had major steel industry going on in the Steel Valley that really vacated the scene between 1975 and 1985, leaving these very large industrial parcels of land behind.
Pittsburgh was the steel city for a good reason, and so a lot of these sites were steel mills, coke mills, and related processing sites. They're very big, they're on the riverfront, and so they're really attractive and important sites to reclaim and put back into use.
So in order for the region to emerge into the 21st century, we had to reclaim those sites for redevelopment. That means taking the land from the steel manufacturer, clearing it for development, and particularly doing environmental remediation, which is kind of the most important facet of brownfield redevelopment. The real risk in redevelopment on brownfields is really the environmental condition of the sites after industry has left them. Both the products of manufacturing process and the waste products can still all be residual in the land. And so in order for a private developer to come in and build a place where you can have apartments or homes or recreational facilities or shopping facilities, we have to make it safe for the public. So it's really the government's role and the Urban Redevelopment Authority in particular to reclaim the site, make it environmentally safe. We take the steel company's parcels, take all of the industrial buildings down. We'd clean the parcels of any environmental contaminants with support of the Department of Environmental Protection, who's been our partner on these projects, and prepare for the large-scale redevelopments to occur.
The Act 2 process has been critical to allowing us to reuse some of these sites. And what the Act 2 process allows you to do is follow a very specific plan to make sure that they're safe, but then eliminates the liability for the new owners so that we can actually reuse these sites and get them back into job-creating centers of commerce in their communities. We work very closely with DEP to make sure the site's safe, that the environment is conducive to having people and jobs on it, and going through that process really enables us to move forward with confidence so that we can bring investment back to these sites.
The goal of the Redevelopment Authority of Allegheny County is really to develop these brownfield sites and to make these brownfield sites become part of the fabric of these communities. These communities have seen many jobs go away with the decline of the steel industry. While steel and steel making is still very prevalent in the Mon Valley, it's a fraction of what it was in previous years. These brownfield sites provide us tremendous opportunities to develop these sites and make these sites special and to bring job opportunities back to the residents of the Mon Valley on these sites. This building that we are in right now was part of the original Carey furnaces that were developed years and years ago. Carey Furnace site is a 165-acre development located in 5 municipalities. It's located on both sides of the Monongahela River, and it was developed as a steel mill back in the 1800s. It sat dormant for about 25 years. The vision for the Carey Furnace site is really to have multiple types of development take place. So we want to see moderate to upscale residential development. We would like to see light industrial and office. In addition to the area that we're standing right now, would likely become part of the National Park Service and be a memorial to the steel industry. The waterfront and homestead development was developed about 15 years ago. It encompasses about 250 acres, and it was developed as retail, residential, and some office space. The waterfront's improving the quality of life for Pittsburgh's residents by providing them opportunities that they hadn't had for many years.
RIDC is a private, not-for-profit. We work with the public sector very closely. We work with private sector developers. We frankly couldn't reuse these sites without these public-private partnerships. It's so important to bring the public money to help with some of the infrastructure and the environmental remediation, and then the private money to help bring new buildings, new jobs, and new companies onto these sites. And that partnership is really what makes it work. The RIDC Duquesne site was a former U.S. steel mill. The Dorothy 6 furnaces were located there. RIDC, in working in combination with the Allegheny County, has taken the site, has done environmental remediation and site preparation, and has brought jobs back to the site. And so it is currently the major employment site within the city of Duquesne, and it's been a very successful development for us. The El Monte site is a 178-acre site. It was formerly a coke and steel mill. It was such an important economic generator for this region, and it's gone fallow. What the master plan is about is really creating a holistic plan for redeveloping the site and re-welcoming people and jobs and investment back to this part of our region and really creating those kind of family-sustaining jobs that are so important.
The importance of public-private partnerships for the reclaiming of brownfields just really can't be underestimated. The government has a very specific role, a role that private can't play. They're not going to enter into a risky transaction with the steel company on an environmentally contaminated site. So the URA can do that. We can reclaim the site with funds that are really only available to us in any major way. We can then certify the sites as environmentally safe and sell them on to private developers. The private developers are eager for large-scale sites. They're very hard to find in existing urban places and even some of our rural communities in Pennsylvania. So without the government playing that role of reclaiming the land, the private partner wouldn't be able to come in and do their significant projects. Southside Works, which is so well-known and award-winning, and Somerset, which we're now entering into phase 3. We've all had long-term and significant private partnerships that allow the redevelopment to occur. If we didn't have the public-private partnerships that make brownfields happen, what unfortunately the public would see is an old steel manufacturing site sitting there rusting. So instead, they get to see shopping, they get to see brand new homes. We just built a park in Pittsburgh on 14 acres of reclaimed brownfield. There's going to be a marina there. So these are all amenities that the public can enjoy, strolling, shopping, having dinner, having celebrations. That's what the public gets out of it. Not to mention the fact of the incredible tax benefits of doing these projects. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars annually returned to the tax base, which means more firemen, more policemen, more sidewalks, more roads. So it just improves the quality of life for everybody in the surrounding community on so many levels.
These brownfield sites really were the economic centers of their towns, and when the mills closed, it was devastating economically. So being able to reuse these sites and bring them back into productive use, having new jobs and new companies, is really critically important. And so reusing these sites is giving back a sense of economic purpose to the communities in which these sites exist.
We're very proud of what we've been able to do in Pittsburgh for brownfield, and we know that we're national leaders and we want to share the gospel across the state and across the U.S.